Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Coming from the car again, car edition. This week's been busy, which is why I'm doing this kind of. Thought I'd just give you an update on what's going on. And like I said, this week's been busy with work and stuff. So, and I've only just been enjoying training, to be honest, and really haven't picked up the camera too much. Haven't thought about filming a session, to be honest. Just enjoying training, enjoying where I'm at in this growing phase, and doing what I'm doing. So I'm currently on the way to a dinner, one of the dinners of mine that I do at the weekends. It's Saturday today, not 26th, 25th today, Saturday 25th. A dinner in Wales near Anglesey, so I've got like an hour and a half drive. So I thought I'd just give you kind of just an update of where we're at, what's been going on. I'll just give you like a rundown of how things are going with everything. So at the moment we are, where are we? March. So we obviously did the show in November. I don't think I've done an update since then. So we obviously did the show last year in November, which was the PCA first timers, which we won the overall, and then went and did the World Championships in, where was that? Hull? No. Birmingham. World Championships in Birmingham, where we came third in my class, tall bodybuilding. So we did those two with a week apart, which was great. Very, very good experience, and thoroughly enjoyed the whole aspect of just doing shows, and the whole prep was great. So we then kind of just went into an off season. Obviously did the whole rebound thing, where we kind of reverse dieted back out of the diet, started increasing food and just letting the body do what it needed to do, in terms of putting weight back on at a quite safe rate. I did gain quite quickly. Well, I say quite quickly, very quickly. We're not really eating a whole lot of food. We only increased food once, and that kind of stayed with me till about January. Obviously I enjoyed myself after the show, but I didn't go crazy. It was literally probably like the first week after the show where I went out for a few meals, had a few off-plan meals, but it wasn't too crazy. I did hold a bit of water on my lower shins, which was expected. But that's completely gone now. And kind of just let the body do what it needs to do with eating and getting training back up to a point where I was starting to get strong again. I kind of went from there really, and it's kind of just been a constant rinse and repeat from there. And then our growing phase started, let me think back, it's March now, so I think the growing phase started in January, I'm pretty sure. I think maybe a bit before. No, January. It was January the 1st or 2nd, the first week of January pretty much. So we just went along with that, had a game plan in mind. I'm not going to tell you what the game plan is or what I'm going for next if there is a show on the horizon. But we just set the plan of a growing phase to put on as much tissue as we could in this space of time, and we're doing well. Condition holding very nicely. I'd say I'm definitely the biggest definitely the biggest I've been and the leanest I've been. I think even before we started the growing phase, we put on about 5 kilo of tissue. With obviously coming off everything, all of the anabolics obviously coming off there and going onto a TRT, which we ran for about two to 3 months. Then we got blood work done to see where we're at. That was all fine. And then obviously into this growing phase now where, we're taking things steady. We're not pushing things too hard because we don't need to. We're growing at a good rate. There's no point in pushing food. I'm currently sitting at 123 kilo, which is the body weight I started prep at last year. And we are in a much better place in terms of condition. I'm still holding onto a midsection. Obliques are still holding on. In the morning I've still got a few striations in my quads and stuff. Glutes are semi there, but there's no reason for them to be there. So we're in a good place, which is basically what I'm saying. And things are still holding quite tight. I'm going to be completely honest, because I can on YouTube. We have implemented insulin from the get-go, from straight out of show, and then very recently implemented Nova Rapid into the daily training window as well. So taking Nova Rapid post-workout, and then Lantus we are having, I'll say that again. Having Nova Rapid post-workout straight after training, and then 20 to 25 minutes later I'll have my post-workout meal, and then I'll have my Lantus insulin as well. So that's been implemented as well, which is obviously keeping us tight and helping us utilise the carbohydrates that are going in. Obviously we are able to pack a whole lot of carbs in for that post-workout window and just utilise it well. So I'm enjoying that and seeing how the body was responding, which is good. Apologies about the lighting as well. The sun is shining right in my face, so I'm sure it looks a bit weird on camera, but this is just an update. So yeah, and at the moment things are just going well. There's not much to say. Bodybuilding is very much about rinse and repeating, and it's a very repetitive process, week in, week out. I'm not the type of person that needs changes every single week. Hardly, Luke makes tweaks here and there every week so that we're on point, and obviously you make changes with a goal in mind, and with how many weeks we've got to do that goal, how many months, things have to be put in place. And we obviously want to be it's hard to talk about this because I don't want to give away what we're doing or how long we've got left of this, but there's potentially something on the horizon which we've got in our minds, which we're shooting for, but we're just doing what we're doing at the moment, and things are going well, so I don't want to give too much away. I'll leave that till I feel the right time to announce what we're doing. Training's going really well. I'm probably at my, I wouldn't say peak strength, but very close to my peak strength right now. And I've kind of gone to a different mindset with training in terms of more focusing on mind to muscle connection, range of motion, instead of focusing on strength, which I focused on last year quite a lot of. And that kind of ended me up in a position where I was getting a lot of niggles. I was getting sore tendons, sore joints, because I was going too heavy and because I was focusing so much on progressive overload and the approach to pack on as much strength as possible, where at the moment I'm really not trying to do that. I know that if my body weight's going up and food's in a good place and is going up on a slow increase, strength is just going to follow, because I know my body and I know what happened last year with that. So I know strength's going to follow. So there's no need for me to overthink trying to progress in a progressive overload approach with strength too much. It's still there. Don't get me wrong. I'm still logging my lifts. I'm still trying to progress things, but not at the rate as which strength is the main drive, if that makes sense. I'm in a very good place now where I have zero, touch wood, zero issues with joints, tendons. You know, everything feels healthy, and I'm in a good place for strength, and movements are moving well. And like I said, mind-to-muscle connection is kind of my main focus at the moment, and just trying to drive as much tension as I can into the muscle, which is paying off and is working because we're growing. You know, each check-in that I do each week, there's improvements being made, which is quite, you know, in an off-season standpoint, it's quite hard to see that you are making improvements every week, because you do have that like film of water, film of fat, which I'm not carrying too much of at the moment, but there obviously is a film of fat, more so water really. But it's quite hard to judge how much you're growing each week, but I can tell when I go and check in. I do pitches on Monday and Tuesday, and then I do a bit of posing in midweek. I can see the size coming on, where last year it was quite hard to see because I was carrying more fat, and I was kind of a bit blind with what was going on. But now, obviously being a bit leaner, we can see a bit more shape coming through, and making sure that we're putting tissue on the right areas, which is basically what we want to do. You know, this year we wanted to target, you know, the feedback from the judges last year from both shows, which was very, very similar, was back. I need more tissue on my back. You know, we didn't suffer from any sort of condition. We came into condition very, very well, and you know, we were inside out peeled, whilst holding on to the tissue that we built in the off season, which is pretty much what you want. So we won in that aspect. We just need, the thing with me is I'm young, I'm, you know, 25. It's the problem with putting on muscle tissue is it takes time, and I know that. I know it's a slow process, and I'm not here to rush things. You know, at the start of my bodybuilding journey, I took 6 or 7 years, where I just trained, I ate, because I knew that it would take a long time, and that was 6 or 7 years, just rinse and repeat, which it still is now. And I know it's just going to take a few more years for me to get that density, to get that thickness, to get that muscle maturity, which is what I need to win these big shows, pretty much. You know, going up against the guys at World Championships, where they probably competed for the last 10, 15, maybe 20 years, and myself going up against them, who was in my first competitive year. You know, I knew going in they obviously had more of a chance of winning just because of their background and the muscle maturity that they had on them, because they were much older than me as well, probably in their late 30s, early 40s maybe. I'd say probably late 30s more like, but still, you know, a step ahead of me in terms of competing and just muscle maturity. So, you know, bringing up areas like my back, I think my arms as well, quads were good, size on my hamstrings as well, so pretty much posterior chain as well, was the main thing that we need to bring up, which we're working hard on this year. You know, back thickness is a pretty big one that we're trying to build up, and just bringing some more density to the back, having a full pull day instead of a posterior chain day, which we had in last year. So a full pull day, a full arm session as well, which I've definitely seen some growth on, with biceps and triceps. They've definitely come up already since last year, and back thickness I think has come up as well. So, you know, I hold quite a lot, most of my fat on my back and glutes, so I'm interested to see the tissue that we put on this year, in terms of last year, and see what the difference is with this like full pull day, which is a full pull day where we've got 6 or 7 movements just focusing on back. That's not like pull day doing like 4 movements on back and then biceps. It's literally just back, so focusing a lot on that. Got the standard white monster, always on the long Johnny. So yeah, that's that. Nutrition, like I touched on before, it hasn't really been a major change. Not a lot of changes going on with nutrition, just getting the food in. It's very, compared to last year, I feel like we're barely touching the surface really. I'm on about, to give you macros, 300 on a training day, 300 protein, 700 carbs, 70 fat, and then on a rest day, 300 protein, 550 carbs, 70 fat. So, you know, still a fair bit of food, but compared to last year where we were pushing up to 5,000-6,000 calories, it feels like nothing, to be honest. It's just very easy to get down, and but it's working. It's helping us grow. Like I said, we're at a different condition, holding much less body fat than I was last year. So the food is obviously there for a purpose, and like I said, no need to push things, no need for us to go overboard. I feel like if we just increase food, I just put on unnecessary amounts of fat, which is why we're just taking it slow at the moment and just giving the body the food it needs to put me in a point of being able to grow, which it is right now. So I think the whole point of this growing phase is not to go overboard, not to push me over what I need to be over, because the next time we go into a prep, which I'm not saying when it is, but the next time we go into prep, it won't have to be a 23 week prep. It might be more like a 16 week prep. You know, the shorter we can make those preps, the better. You know, the more time we can spend in the growing phase and growing and putting tissue on, which is obviously where we want to be. Obviously when we go into prep, obviously the first few weeks of prep we can kind of put a bit more tissue on and still progress a bit, but then you start to hold numbers, you're more there for maintenance, and you're not really putting tissue on then. You're just looking at stripping body fat and getting that crispy lean condition, which is the main focus in prep. So the more time we can spend in the growth phase, the better, which is why we're taking this approach, making that prep a bit shorter. So I think that covers everything. Just talk for 20 minutes straight. That's kind of a decent update of where we're at, and now I can't think of anything else that I need to touch on really. Just that everything's in a good place, and I'm happy with what I'm looking like. I'm happy with the current game plan and what we need to do, and the areas that we needed to come up are coming up. So no issues. I'll probably come next week with a different training video, potentially, and we'll kind of go from there and touch on a few things with training, because I just haven't this week. I've just, like I said, I've just been enjoying training and enjoying the process really. You know, I'm only picking up the camera to film top sets on 2 movements in a session, which I do all the time for Instagram. If you're not already, go onto the Instagram. Henry.Taylor is my Instagram, where physique updates, training videos, daily training videos, I'm posting on there all the time, so make sure you're following that. But yeah, I'll probably come next week with a training video or something else. I did a full day of eating last week, so it could be a full rest day of eating. We'll see how I feel. But just wanted to do an update today, this week, just to give you an insight on what's going on, what happened from show, because I don't think I've done one since I came off show. So that's where we're at the moment, and we're kind of in the middle ground of growing phase anyway, so it's kind of probably a good time to give an update. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Let me carry on with this drive. I need to stop for a wee, so I'm hoping some services come up soon. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're taking some good information from it. Just an update of where we're at. We'll catch up again soon. See you later.